UFC Fight Night, Brandon Moreno versus lonerkavanagh just took place, and I'm gonna give you my raw reaction to the whole fight card. So let's get into it. First fight of the night, we had Damon Pinos versus Wes Schultz, and this was an absolute obliteration by Damon Pinos. Pinos came in with heavy pressure and didn't give Schultz a second to breathe. Man, he came in and was looking for that KO, and he got it within the first 2 minutes of the fight in round one. And good for him, man. We all expected this. We knew that if Damon Pinos was gonna win, it was gonna be by KO, and if Schultz won, it was gonna be by submission. And hey, Pinos got it done, so good for him. And yeah, we move on. Next fight of the card, we have Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall. All right, and just like the fight before, this fight ended pretty quickly in the first 2 minutes of the very first round. And Francis Marshall was able to get a submission win via rear naked choke, and it was an easy win for Francis Marshall. He was able to get the double leg. He blasted through Eric Silva's defense and just took him down. And Eric Silva had nothing to offer on the ground. He couldn't defend it. He couldn't do anything. So Francis Marshall was able to get his back and get that rear naked choke. And good for Francis Marshall. I had him winning, and I apologize. I didn't put my predictions for this fight card. I was a little busy, but I had him winning, and he won. I had a couple dogs that won too, but yeah, Francis Marshall wins by submission. Good for him. It was to be expected. Eric Silva's old, he's slow, so yeah, good for Francis Marshall. We move on. Next up, we have a very entertaining fight, especially for women's MMA, and especially for someone that's making their UFC debut in Regina Terran. So Terran gets to win unanimously via decision against Ernesta Caricate. And she's not an easy out, bro. Ernesta did give her a fight, but Regina Terran was just a step ahead. She was always on the gas tank. And surprisingly, because, like I said, she came in short notice, about a week. But, don't get it twisted. Regina was in camp. She did have a Muay Thai fight coming up. So she was in shape. She was ready to go. But she signed the contract and she got Ernesta. And she was able to get it done. She was landing a lot of hooks, 1-2s, and just circling around. And she looked really promising. So I would want to see her here pretty soon. She didn't take a lot of damage against Ernesta. So, yeah, I want to see her here pretty soon. Maybe give her 3 months, 4 months to recover. And, yeah, let's see her get another dub. And she's got a lot of hype behind her, too. So there's that. She's got a crowd. And she got the dub in her hometown in Mexico City. So good for her. We move on, boys. Next fight of the card, we have Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Now this fight was a little controversial. So first off, Douglas Andrade comes in, and I want to say like in the first 2 minutes, he's able to rock Javier Reyes, and it looks like he's gonna get him out of there. But Reyes is able to weather the storm, and he lands a punch of his own that rocks Andrade, and Reyes follows up, and they're kind of scrambling on the floor. Reyes is the better guy, obviously. But at one point, I want to say like in the last 30 seconds, Reyes got his back and is punching him. And then Andrade lays down on his back. He's kind of flat, just accepting position, but defending the punches, defending his guard. And Reyes is just going, looking for that KO. And Herb Dean is telling him, hey man, you gotta go, you gotta cover. And during the cover up of Andrade is saying, no, 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 I'm okay. But Herb Dean stops the fight, and it's called a TKO. And some people are calling it some backlash that the fight got stopped early and that Andrade was there. In my opinion, I think it was a good stoppage just because Andrade was laying flat on his stomach. Yes, he was defending the punches, but what are you gonna do, bro? You're in a position. I can understand not to stop the fight just because there's like a couple seconds left, especially since the fight got stopped at 4 minutes 59 seconds, But, Javier Reyes gets the dub, good for him. And I think the stoppage was okay, it was fine. And I'm not going to really argue about the stoppage because, it's Douglas Andrade, it's not really notable. Neither is Javier Reyes, but there's that. So, yeah, kind of controversial, but Reyes is able to get it done in the very first round. Now, moving up, boys. We have Christian Quinones versus Chris Montinho. Now, Chris Montinho, man, what are you gonna say? This guy's a bum, bro. Like, I was rooting for him. I know he sucks. I know he's not the best, but I kind of wanted him to win, but I knew he wasn't going to get it done. I had Quinones winning, but I was rooting for him. And man, this just shows that there's levels in the game, man. Coutinho couldn't get a rhythm. He was a punching bag, and he couldn't get anything done. Christian Quinones was just a step ahead, man. And Christian Quinones looked like a world beater out there against Moutinho. Obviously, he's not good, Quinones, but damn, he looks so good out there against Moutinho because, Moutinho doesn't belong in the UFC. And the UFC gave him his shot. He got knocked out against Wallmaker. He came in, he did what he had to do to get that opportunity. But yeah, I don't think Moutinho deserves to be in the UFC. I think they should cut him. And that's within reason because he hasn't shown any improvement and he's just not in the level for the UFC. But Quinones is able to get it done just one step ahead of everything that Chris Moutinho was throwing, and good for him. Now, Christian Quinones, I don't see him moving up into the division because I don't think he's good and I don't think he's going to be improving. And I think he's pretty up there in age. I don't have his age up on screen, but from the top of my head, he's pretty up there, so I don't see him moving up to the division. But good for him for getting this dub in homeland. So yeah, we move on. Next up, we have Aylin Perez versus Macy Chasson. Now, this fight was very competitive, but Aylin Perez won. She won round 1 and round 3. Chasson was able to win round 2, but this was just a grappling affair with Aylin Perez. She was able to get that takedown in round 1 and secure it, and that's how she won round 3 as well. And her grappling is just better than Chasson, man. Chasson did try to grapple a little bit with her, but she wasn't going anywhere. Perez wasn't really looking for submissions, though, what I noticed. She was looking for that TKO, but obviously never came. And this fight went to decision. But it wasn't the best fight. It wasn't entertaining. And I don't know where this leads Aylin Perez, because she's pretty up there in the division, but it wasn't an entertaining fight. So we'll see where she goes. And Macy Chasson, man, I think this is the beginning of the end for her. She's been in the downward slope, and I think it's just going to get worse for her. She's not improving in her game, especially in her takedown defense and takedown offense. So there's that. But yeah, we'll see where this leads Aylin Perez. And yeah, boys, not the most entertaining fight. The girl that made her debut, the girl that came in short notice, was 10 times more entertaining than this. So there's that. So yeah, we move on, boys. And I think this was the headliner. Was it? I believe so. Headliner of the prelims, we had Aaron Garda versus Jose Daniel Medina. And man, this KO was brutal, man. Gadra got the KO in like 40 seconds. And he came in heavy pressure. Heavy pressure. Medina was down to brawl. And it cost him, man. It cost him because Gadra was able to connect. Gadra was able to connect with some nasty hooks against the cage. And it just slumped Medina, man. He got like flash KO'd because one of the punches punched him. He got KO'd, and then the next punch woke him up. And when he was on the floor, he was defending. But it was over, man. That fight was over 100%. So good stoppage. And this fight really reminded me of when Diego Lopez flash KO'd Brian Ortega. If you guys remember, Diego Lopez was throwing those hooks. And in one of the hooks, Brian Ortega got KO'd. But the next punch woke him up, and the fight continued. This is exactly how that fight went. But yeah, good for Gondra to get that 40-second KO. And he should have gotten a bonus. I don't think he did, but he should have got a bonus. But, good for him. I don't see him moving up into the division, especially middleweight. Middleweight has really good people in the division, but we'll see. And yeah, we move on, boys. All right, Santiago Luna versus Angel Pacheco. Now, Santiago Luna won unanimously via decision, and this fight was very competitive, very high level, and very good. A lot of people are going to say that Santiago Luna lost some stock in this fight, but Angel Pacheco actually put up a really good fight. Very good boxing, and it was a really, really good fight, very competitive, but obviously there was a clear winner in Santiago Luna. Angel Pacheco, good, man. He's old, but his boxing's pretty decent, man, and he did give Santiago Luna a good fight. But this is good for Santiago Luna because he gets... But this is good for Santiago Luna because he gets some rounds in the cage, But this is good for Santiago Luna because he's going to get some rounds in the cage, more experience, and at the end of the day, he's going to be a better fighter. So this is good for him. Not a really I don't think it's a bad. I wouldn't say that this makes Luna look bad or anything. I actually think it's a lot better for his career in the long term. So yeah, Santiago Luna is able to win via decision, and good for him. Next fight, we have Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. Now, Emmanuel Rodriguez, this guy came in as a heavy favorite, and this was a scary fight for anyone that bet on Emmanuel because, like in the first minute, maybe 2 minutes, Kevin Borjas is able to rock Emmanuel, and it's looking like Kevin Borjas is going to get that finish, but Emmanuel's able to survive, and he goes into round two, and then he has a little flurry of his own, and he rocks Kevin Borjas, and he was able to get that KO finish against him. Now, Emmanuel Rodriguez has a lot to work on, man. You can't be getting beat up by a guy in Kevin Borjas who's not really that good. I wouldn't say he's one of the best fighters in the flyweight division. And Emmanuel just has a lot to work on. His chin's just up there to be grabbed. His chin's just up there to be touched, and I don't like that, man. If he fights better competition in the division, he's definitely going to get starched, in my opinion. But this is a good win. Good for him. He wins in home turf, and yeah, so we move on. Next up, we have Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Muniz. Now, Edgar Chairez is able to win a split decision in a fight that, in my opinion, could have gone either way. But at the end of the day, they give it to Edgar Chairez. And Edgar Chairez did a good job, man. And Edgar Chairez did a good job. Very competitive, good striking from both guys. Chairez, from the top of my head, Chairez did win rounds 3. Round 1 and 2, I don't really remember who won, but I do remember that I think it was round 2, could have gone either way. But yeah, it was basically 1-1 coming into round 3, and that round 3 was a deciding factor. But you got to keep in mind, it's in Mexico. They're going to give it to the Mexican. So yeah, they gave it to Edgar Chairez. Good for him. I don't know what to say here, man, because this isn't really top level fighters. And Edgar Chairez, if he fights anyone in, Edgar Chairez, if he fights anyone in the higher level of the flyweight division, he's gonna get starched. He's not really that good. So I say just give him more entertaining fights like these. And yeah, so good for Edgar Chairez to win in home turf. And yeah, we move on, boys. Now the upset of the night. All right, a lot of you guys aren't gonna believe me because I didn't put my prediction video, but man, I had King Green, Bobby Green, to win the fight, and he won it in spectacular fashion, man. He won by KO in rounds 2. Yeah, rounds 2, the end of round 2. Crazy fight, man. See, now Daniel Zellhuber, I never held him high, never held him in a pedestal, and that loss against Michael Johnson proved my sentiment. Daniel Zellhuber is just hesitant, man. And when you're on it, when you're feeling it, you're just going to beat him up. He looked kind of... Zellhuber looked tentative. He looked kind of scared out there. And it looked like it was his first fight in... And it looked like it was his first fight in the organization. He was just kind of choking. And King Green was just styling on him, talking shit to him, and just moving around, feeling him, feeling his flow. And Bobby Green was just feeling himself, man. He was just out there doing his thing, dodging everything, showboating, going like this, just talking shit to him. And yeah, it just ate Zellhuber up. You can tell it was just breaking him down mentally. And come round 2, all of that just collided, and King Green was able to get that KO. And we gotta call him King Green because he got that KO, man. When he loses, he's Bobby Green, But when he wins, King Green, bro. Good for him. And I'm happy that he won. I kind of root for him. I like him. And I want to see him in more entertaining fights. I don't know why the UFC was trying to lay him up. We know what this was. We know that the UFC wanted Zellhuber to win against King Green. Like, they wanted him to win against Michael Johnson. And UFC plan fails twice, back-to-back, against good competition. And on the lowest of keys, I think Zellhuber should get cut, man. You're losing against two 40-year-old dudes. Come on, man. I think he needs to get cut, get a couple wins in the regionals, and then come back. Because that's kind of embarrassing, man. You're, 26, 28, something like that? Losing against two 40-year-olds back-to-back? Couldn't be me. That's for sure. Could not be me. But, yeah, good for Bobby Green to win this fight. And we move on. Main event, or sorry, the co-main event, we have Marlon Chito Vera versus David Martinez. Now, I had David Martinez. He was pretty sure he was the favorite, and yeah, just a masterclass against just a masterclass against Marlon Vera, man. And this is a classic Marlon Vera fight. Just can't get anything done until the third round, and then complain that, oh, I won that fight. No, bro, you did not win that fight. You lost rounds 1 and 2, and in my opinion, round 3 it was a 30-27. But if you want to give it to Marlon Chito Vera, if you want to do a pity party, give it to him. It's still a 29-28. But yeah, David Martinez just too fast and a lot better than Marlon Chito Vera. You can tell that Chito Vera and yeah, David Martinez just too fast, too quick for Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera just couldn't get anything done in the beginning of the rounds, and David Martinez just outlanding. I think in the first round, I don't really count stats that good, but this just shows you in the first round they landed or in the first round they threw the same amount of strikes, but Marlon Vera only landed like 6 to 8 of them, and David Martinez landed like 30 of them. But they threw the same exact amount of strikes, which is crazy. This just shows you the accuracy that Marlon Vera has. Not too good. And he, like I said, he doesn't put it on. He doesn't put, and like I said, he just doesn't put it on until like the end of the round. So David Martinez wins. Good for him. He moves higher into the division. David Martinez was ranked 10. Marlon Vera was ranked 9. So he should be around 7 to 8, around there, maybe even 6 to 8. So we'll see. But good win for David Martinez. Good. He's building a good resume, and I don't really hold Mexican fighters highly, but David Martinez is. But David Martinez did catch my eye when he did enter the UFC via the Contenders. So yeah, good for David Martinez to win this. To win this against a big name in Marlon Chito Vera, and yeah, we move on. And next up we have the main event, boys. Main event. Brandon Moreno versus Loner Kavanagh. Now, I had Loner Kavanagh to win, and he won, man. He won. I thought he could have got the KO, but to be safe, I had Loner Kavanagh via decision, and that's how he won via decision. And literally a masterclass with Loner Kavanagh, man. First round, he comes in just piecing Brandon Moreno up. Brandon Moreno like broke his nose or something in the first round, and had like a swollen left eye, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Loner Kavanagh was just beating up that leg. That leg wasn't too beat up though. But come round 2, Loner Kavanagh started throwing more leg kicks that affected Brandon Moreno's mobility. And come round 3, Brandon Moreno was just dropping every single time Loner was throwing a leg kick, man. That lead leg of Brandon Moreno was just beat up. Purple with welts. It was just nasty, man. Brandon Moreno just got outclassed. And this just shows you the downfall of Brandon Moreno. Yes, he's young. He's 32. And that should be your peak in your career. Especially for flyweight, that should be your peak. But we can just see, man. We can see that Brandon Moreno is on the low washed. He's not the same guy that he used to be. And I even saw that when he did win against Amir Albazi. He won that fight, but he just looks slower. And not the same Brandon Moreno that he used to be. And and then you see a couple more months pass by after that fight, which leads to this fight. And then he just gets outclassed against a younger, hungrier Loner Kavanagh. And this is crazy, man, because Loner Kavanagh came in short notice. Imagine if he had a full fight camp. I think if he would have had a full fight camp, he would have maybe gotten a finish against Brandon Moreno, because this, like I said, short notice, and he just obliterated Brandon Moreno. Insanity, bro. And yeah, I've held Kavanagh highly. I had Kavanagh to win against Charles Johnson. He got KO'd, but I thought that was a fluke, man. I seen a lot of tape. I liked Loner Kavanagh, and he never gassed out. That was the only time he gassed out. So I didn't really think that was a big issue. I wasn't scared of his tank. I wasn't really worried about that. I knew he had this in the bag. It's a big opportunity against a 2-time flyweight champion, and I knew he was gonna win, man. I just knew it. So good for Loner Kavanagh, and he moves up into the top 5, I believe. I think Brandon Moreno was 6 or something like that. So one more big win And you can see Loner Kavanagh fighting for that belt here pretty soon. And that's crazy, man, because he just lost, and he's going to be on a 2-fight win streak if he does win his next fight. And then coming into a championship fight with a 2-fight win streak, that's crazy. But Brandon Moreno is a big name, top 5. Can't complain. And yeah, that's good. It just shows you, man, that the new era is just coming up, man. New era is coming up. This guy's young, dude. Let's just look at UFC 327. We got Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. This is those guys were both born in the 2000s. So those are the first 2 fighters that are fighting from our generation, and we're just seeing the sport run over the old, man. It's just moving, and yeah, we're just seeing the sport move way too quick, man. Way too quick. Time flies, man. Time flies. I can't say that enough. But yeah, this was the main event. Loner Kavanagh wins. I think one more really, really good win, maybe top 3, and he should be fighting for the belt next. But we'll see. We'll see what the future has in store. And yeah, so that was my raw reaction to the whole fight card. Brandon Moreno versus Loner Kavanagh. Let me know what you guys thought about the fight card down in the comments down below, and let me know what was your favorite fight on the card. To be honest, main event, Brandon Moreno, Loner Kavanagh, that was my favorite fight. Just because I'm a big Loner Kavanagh fan. So yeah, let me know all that in the comments down below. And I'll try to make a couple more videos here in the coming days. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.